Alright guys, today we are going to be looking at some amps. I said I'd do this, I got a few questions about it, what amps to use for Eidolons, and we're just going to be looking at the two main ones that I like to use today. The first one is the X27, which is the Schraxen scaffold and the Certus brace. The prism doesn't matter at all. Someone asked about what prism's best. I would say it's personal preference, but if you want to be wasting stacks, then you probably want the Clamora prism. It's by far the fastest at getting rid of stacks. I'm using Cantic here just because I like it. I don't know, it's fun. But yeah, our Schraxen here, we're only going to be using the secondary. Never going to be using the primary apart from wasting stacks. I don't know why people are saying about water shields. You should only ever be using the secondary, and I'll play a clip to show how that works. So I'll run maybe like a run through of just like one night run using the Schraxen, and I'll do some overlay commentary just to explain how it's working, and then after that I'll go on to our second amp, which is the proper scaffold based amp. As you can see, I am using the Clamora on this one. We're always going to be using the Certus brace on our amps just because it gives us the highest crit chance, which is the most important thing when we're doing this. It's worth noting as well that we're going to be running Virtuous Shadow with all of these amps, since it is the best amp for consistently hitting high damage numbers and taking down the shields. So yeah, our proper, as you can see, has a slightly higher crit chance than our Schraxen. It uses a fair bit more energy per shot. We're only going to be able to shoot 3 shots with this before we have to let our amp recharge. Not all that's going to matter. And as you can see, it does have a higher void damage cap number. So I'm going to be looking at this after we've had a run through the Schraxen gameplay. And then yeah, we'll look at this as well. In terms of my personal preference, I would say that I prefer using the Schraxen just because I find I hit shots more consistently. But if you are someone who likes to VS a lot, I tend to stick to Chroma, so it doesn't really matter. But if you're someone who likes to VS a lot, if you can get good at using the proper is probably far superior to the Schraxen, and I'll explain why when I get into the proper section of the video. So we'll hop into the run using the Schraxen now, and then I will just show. I don't think I have a run where I'm using the proper actually, but what I'll do is I'll quickly hop in solo, and I might just show a few shields on a terror list using the proper, just so you guys can see how the timing works and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll hop into the Schraxen video now. Alright guys, so the way this video is going to work, we're going to run through the whole of terror list here, and then we're just going to quickly look at the water shield on the first Ganser list, just so you can see sort of where I'm shooting, etc. So we're going to set up our shields here at the start, get our Virtuous Shadow procced, and we're going to aim to shoot up through the limb. And as you can see, we're hitting multiple hit points here with the Schraxen. That's where the damage comes from, really. The Garuda's a bit late coming over here, so we're just going to wait a bit. There we go. So we're going to do the same again. I'm going to put my shadow. We'll put our shields down in front here, or at the back, either one. And we're going to shoot up through the leg to hit multiple hit points. And that's how we get so much damage off with the Schraxen. As you can see, we're hitting 3 or 4 hit points there per shot. You'll see it much better in this next shot, up through the front of the leg. So we'll proc our shadow again, and now we're going to shoot up to the front, and you'll see, there we go, we hit about 5 hit points there, and we did get the 1 shot on the shield. Like I said, the proper, if you can use it and time it well, it'll do a lot more damage than the Schraxen. It's probably the only real way to guarantee 1-shots on the all terrorist shields. In my experience, the fastest you can take down all the limbs on the terror list is 1 minute and 25 from the start of from when you enter the gate. But anything under 130 is alright. But 125 is perfect. 1 shot on all limbs and all shields. So that's the magic number to look out for. So we're just going to wait now, and then head over to the shrine, and we're going to do first Gantalist shield. And it's worth noting, when we do that first shield, we need to shoot slightly up in the air. We're aiming for the head on the first shield, and the head hitbox is slightly raised on water shields. So we just need to be aware of that. You'll see me sort of aim maybe 10 or 20 degrees higher than vertical, maybe 30 even. But yeah, we'll have a look here. You should be able to see some damage numbers. The big damage numbers, you'll see that some of them are crits. You'll know if they're crits because they're big numbers. Some of the crits will be down at sort of 5,000. You'll know when you hit a crit on the headshot when it's sort of up around 15 to 20k. My VS stacks are a bit low here because I took a bit too long putting down shields. But yeah, there should be around 6 or 7 for Volt here. So you'll see turn, shoot just up in the air. And you can see there at the bottom of the screen there was a decently sized crit number there, around 15k.
We've broken the curse.
So we're going to do the same now for Gantalist and just shoot out through the legs. But yeah, that's basically it for Shraxon. Like I said, shoot out through the legs. You'll see sometimes you get the bullet attractor, which is that green circle that you just saw around it, which can sometimes skew shots, but shouldn't be a problem. So we're now going to hop into Proper. We are going to look at that. If you have any more questions about Shraxon, you can just ask me in the comments. But yeah, we're going to go for Proper now, so I'll see you in a bit. Okay guys, so now we're going to look at the Proper. And I just want to explain a few things before I go over and mess around with the terror list for a bit. So if we just fire it here, you'll see there is a bit of a delay after you fire to when the projectile actually explodes. And we want to time it so that the projectile explodes as soon as the shield comes back up on the terror list. And hopefully I'll be able to show that when I go over there. So if we just fire it. So there's about a 2.5 second to 3 second delay from firing to when the projectile explodes. Probably 2 seconds actually, to when the projectile explodes. And when we go over to the terror list, I will show you when to fire. It is dependent on ping a bit. Obviously, if you have a higher ping, you're going to be shooting your projectile earlier because there's going to be a bit of delay. And if you have a lower ping, then you're going to be shooting it later. But yeah, we'll go over that. I'm obviously playing on host, so when I fire my projectile over there, it's going to be sort of as late as you can possibly fire. But yeah, so what I want to also show before I go over and show the timing is show how to use this amp for water shields. So what you can do, let's say we get close, right? We've placed our shard. Generally, you want to come in and just fire straight upwards. 3 shots, actually. Fire 3, because then you'll have 5, 1 left for each limb left on the Hydralist, or Gantalist, whichever one you're killing. So you just want to dash straight down, fire up through the shield, and you should hit some big numbers there. Now, there is a nice interaction as well between Proper and Warframes. Warframes count as a solid entity when you're using Proper, which means that when you fire the shot at the Warframe, it will explode on impact if you get it right, as so. So if you position your Warframes correctly, maybe, so if you're really committed to it, you could have 3 of these spots covered, and then you could just dash to it. And then if you can actually hit, you can get some really nice quick hits off. And they do insane damage if they do hit. Really high numbers. You can potentially one-shot the shield with the Proper if you can get it right. But yeah, that's if you're really committed to setting up all of your frames around the lake. You can hit some really big damage numbers, and you can potentially make it a lot faster taking down the shield than the Shraxon. Although I would say that the Shraxon is a lot more consistent in taking down water shields. The Proper, if you can get it right, definitely takes it down faster. The other issue is as well, with using this. If you notice my health, obviously when the shots go off, I'm going to lose health. And when you've got stacks, VS stacks, adding up to maybe 8 or 9 times on the first shield, that can one-shot you, and it will reset you at Shrine. Which is something to bear in mind. Maybe if you're playing Trinity and you need to get lures across, just bear that in mind. You are likely to kill yourself when you're there, unless you place your frame and then shoot, which you can do, and then you'll appear there. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to quickly fly over. I'll take down the first shield of the Terrorist. I'll grab myself a lure as well, and then what I'll do is I'll just shoot one of the limbs, and then we will take out one of the shields using Void Strike. Not Void Strike. Yeah, Void Strike stacks. To take down the first shield. So yeah, I'll see you in a bit when I've got that ready. Okay guys, so as you can see, we're over here at the Terrorist. I've taken down the first shield. The Vomble is probably going to put it back up in a second though, and I've charged my VS up a bit. So the way this is going to work, I'm going to take down one of the limbs. He's going to go into his crying phase, and as he gets back up, you'll notice he's going to take 2 steps to get back up, and we are going to shoot our prober just before he takes the second step. That's his host. If you're on client side, then it's probably going to be a bit before that, maybe just halfway in between his 2 steps. Again, like I said, it's dependent on the ping. One other thing I should also mention is that this may not work first try, obviously. I'm, for a start, not going to be having Unairu Wisps from the Chroma, since there is no Chroma. I am going to be using Volt Shields, and I am going to proc Void Shadow if possible, or Virtuous Shadow, sorry, if possible. So let's take down on them here. Now let's make sure we get it, actually. Okay. So we'll put our shields around about here. Proc Virtuous Shadow, there we go. And he's going to take 1, 2, and shield down. There we go. So that is the timing that you want. Obviously, as host, that's like as late as you can do it. But I mean, it's trial and error really, whether you get it or not. You just want to keep practicing at different pings, and eventually you'll get the feel for it all. But yeah, so obviously that was around 12 VS, so that's a one-shot way before that as well. You can one-shot this thing maybe at 4 VS, and then with a Unairu Wisp, it's easy days really. So what I would say as well, obviously I'm not showing Gantus and Hydralist. I might do a 6-cap with the Proper and make a video of that. But on Gantus and Hydralist the timing is slightly different, but not too dissimilar, and you'll get it with practice. So yeah, I think I'll just get away from all this chaos over here. I think that's probably everything covered in terms of the amps that I like to use for Eidolons. If you have any other questions, or you think there's any other amps that I've missed or haven't talked about, do let me know in the comments. I hope you liked the video, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one, guys. Thanks for watching.